Welcome back to TPS. They say records are made to be broken, but what happens when some records are, well, unbreakable? You can never fully rule out anything in the NFL world, but we can say with full confidence that these 17 NFL records will hold up against the test of time. Here's the 17 most unbreakable NFL records. At TPS, we post videos every single day, so don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe. Then click the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video. Number 17, Peyton Manning's 5 MVPs. Former Colts and Broncos quarterback Peyton Manning often had to carry some pretty flawed teams on his back. He also spent the majority of his career in a time when there were only so many other world-class elite quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers came around during the later years of Manning's storied career, but there weren't enough QBs who could challenge Manning for the MVP award. Manning won the honors 5 times in 2003, 4, 8, 9, and 13. A handful of guys have won 3, but nobody else has ever reached 4 MVP awards. There's too much quarterback parity in the NFL these days for anyone to win 5 MVPs. A generational talent like Patrick Mahomes might match Manning's record, but he ain't breaking it. Number 16, Indianapolis Colts, 23 consecutive regular season wins. Manning's Colts rarely dropped games in September and October during a stretch from 2004 to 9, but they also got off to a surprisingly sloppy start in 2008, dropping 4 of their first 7 games to sit at 3-4 after Week 8. Everyone knew not to sleep on Manning and the Colts. Sure enough, they caught fire in the second half, winning their final 9 games to salvage a 12-4 record. 1 year later, Manning and the Colts jumped out to a perfect 14-0 record. However, head coach Jim Caldwell decided to pull his starters during the Week 16 game against the New York Jets. Indy dropped that plus their meaningless Week 17 game to finish at 14-2. Week 16 marked the end of an impressive regular season winning streak, where the Colts managed to win 23 straight games. Number 15, Brett Favre's 336 career interceptions thrown. Green Bay Packers icon Brett Favre was called the gunslinger for a reason. The man just loved, well, slinging the ball wherever and whenever. Favre was an ultra-aggressive quarterback who often took the risks that today's QBs are told to stay away from. Longevity also helped Favre rack up many impressive stats throughout his career. The 3-time MVP, however, would love you to forget the fact that he comfortably holds the record for most career interceptions with 336. Hall of Famer George Blanda played in an era where QBs threw high numbers of interceptions, and he played a whopping 26 seasons. And yet, Blanda is a distant second behind Favre with 277 career interceptions thrown. Today, any quarterback who consistently throws close to 20 interceptions a season doesn't last. Number 14, Derrick Thomas's 7 sacks in 1 game. The late Derrick Thomas of the Kansas City Chiefs rewrote the record books when he sacked Seattle Seahawks quarterback Dave Craig 7 times in their Week 10 1990 showdown. Remarkably, Kansas City still lost that game 17-16. Entire teams barely ever put up 7 sacks in a game, so yeah, Thomas's individual record of 7 in a game probably isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Number 13, Buffalo Bills 32-point comeback. It's safe to argue that the New England Patriots comeback against the Atlanta Falcons in Super Bowl 51 was the greatest comeback in NFL history since they erased a 25-point second-half deficit. But mathematically speaking, it wasn't the greatest of all time. That would be the 1992 Buffalo Bills, who trailed 35-3 to the Houston Oilers in their 1992 AFC wildcard playoff game. A backup QB, Frank Reich, who was filling in for an injured Jim Kelly, led Buffalo to a comeback for the ages. They scored 28 points in the third quarter, and in the blink of an eye, the game was tied 38 apiece heading into overtime. Warren Moon was picked off in overtime, and Steve Christie eventually booted the game-winning field goal to complete the historic comeback that won't be topped. Number 12, Paul Krause's 81 career interceptions. It's hard for defensive backs to play at extremely high levels for more than a decade in today's NFL. Not only that, but quarterbacks are usually smart by choosing not to throw in the direction of a ball-hawking safety or shutdown corner. Former Washington Redskins and Minnesota Vikings legend Paul Krause, who played from 1964 to 1979, recorded an NFL record 81 interceptions in his career. Also, Krause played in an era where even the best quarterbacks often threw more interceptions than touchdowns. Football isn't like that anymore. Number 11, Buffalo Bills 4 straight Super Bowl losses. The Patriots only made it to the Super Bowl 4 times in 5 years between the 2014 and 18 seasons. They won 3 and only lost 1. The Bills reached the Super Bowl in 4 straight years from 1990 to 93, and they lost every single one of them. These Bills, led by Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Bruce Smith, and Andre Reed, were the dynasty that never was. Number 10, George Blanda's 26 seasons played. Pro Football Hall of Fame quarterback George Blanda began his playing career in 1949. He was mainly a backup quarterback until his retirement following the 1958 season. However, Blanda returned as both a kicker and quarterback for the Houston Oilers in the NFL, leading them to a pair of league championships. Blanda then joined the Oakland Raiders for the 1967 season, winning a third AFL championship with his new team. Though Blanda was primarily used as the team kicker, he also served as a backup quarterback. Blanda retired after the 1975 season with 26 pro football seasons under his belt. Some kickers have come close to catching Blanda, namely Morton Anderson and Adam Vinatieri. Number 9, New England Patriots division title streak. The Los Angeles Rams won the NFC West division title in 7 consecutive years from 1973 to 79. The Tom Brady and Bill Belichick-led New England Patriots broke the record by winning their 8th consecutive AFC East crown in their Super Bowl winning 2016 season. The Patriots made it 9 straight division titles in 2017, 10 in 2018, and 11 in 2019. The most impressive part? The Patriots won practically every division title with relative ease. Number 8, San Francisco 49ers 18 straight road wins. The 49ers were the ultimate road warriors during the Joe Montana days. From 1988 to 1990, the 49ers managed to pick up 18 straight victories on the road. Just think about that for a second. After losing to the Phoenix Cardinals in Week 10 of the 1988 season, the 49ers began their streak by defeating the San Diego Chargers 48-10 at Jack Murphy Stadium in Week 13. San Francisco recorded perfect 8-8 road records in 1989 and 1990, winning the Super Bowl in the former season. But all good things must come to an end, and that was the case for the 49ers' road winning streak too. Duh. The 49ers visited the New York Giants in Week 1 of the 1991 season. This was a rematch of the 1990 NFC Championship game won by the Giants. Well, the G-men kept Steve Young and company in check, and the home team escaped with a tight 16-14 victory. And for the first time in about 3 years, the 49ers recorded a road loss. This streak promises to hold up until the end of time. Number 7, Don Hutson's 29 points in 1 quarter. Historians consistently ranked Green Bay Packer icon Don Hutson as one of the true all-time greats of professional football. Hutson led the Pack to 3 NFL championships. He also won 2 MVP awards while leading the league in receiving yards 7 times, receptions 8 times, and receiving touchdowns 9 times. Not only was he Green Bay's top offensive weapon, but Hutson was also a kicker. In the second quarter of a game against the Detroit Lions on October 7, 1945, Hutson found the end zone 4 times while booting 5 extra points. 29 points in 1 quarter? There is no way anybody breaks that. There isn't a player who serves as a receiver and a kicker, unless a player can record 4 touchdowns and a pair of 2-point conversions, and somehow extra points or a safety or never mind. Number 6, Tom Brady's 6 Super Bowl rings player. Before his Patriots won Super Bowl 53 against the Los Angeles Rams, Brady was tied with Hall of Famer Charles Haley with 5 championship rings as a player. Haley was part of 2 Super Bowl championship teams in San Francisco, and he won 3 more with the Dallas Cowboys during their 1990s dynasty. The odds of any player winning 6 rings with multiple teams, again, is extremely low to begin with, and no single player will endure a dominant 2-year stretch like Brady did. Just think about all of the factors that helped Brady. Longevity, a lot of luck when needed, playing for the best coach ever, playing in a horrible division. So many all-time great quarterbacks won 2 rings or 1 ring or even none. Think of that: Favre, Warner, Manning, Dan Marino, and Roger Staubach. Brady's 6 rings will forever stand as the most won by any player. Number 5, Emmitt Smith's 18,355 career rushing yards. Emmitt Smith comfortably retired as the all-time rushing yards king. He spent 15 seasons in the NFL, 13 with Dallas and 2 with Arizona. Most of today's running backs are very fortunate if they play 10 years, and if more than 5 of those years are at an ultra-high level. Teams are always recycling through running backs these days. They're easily replaceable. Plenty of teams prefer the RB by committee approach too. And many of the top running backs of the 21st century struggle to stay consistently healthy and productive. In the past decade alone, Frank Gore and Adrian Peterson cracked the top 5 in career rushing yards, and these guys still never got close to Smith. Number 4, Brett Favre's 297 consecutive starts. Favre was the perfect modern-day example of longevity. On September 27, 1992, Favre stepped in as the Green Bay Packers starter, and he would not miss another start for the next 18 years. Even though he retired as the most sacked quarterback in NFL history, 525 times to be exact, Favre fought through all the beatings and injuries and just kept going. But Favre suffered a shoulder injury during his age 41 swan song season in 2010. He had to miss his Minnesota Vikings Week 14 showdown against the New York Giants as a result, marking the end of a 297 consecutive start streak. Favre would retire after the season. Giants quarterback Eli Manning seemed like a candidate to break Favre's record for a while. He made it to 210 consecutive starts before head coach Ben McAdoo controversially benched him in favor of Geno Smith for a 2017 game. Any quarterback who goes 5 straight years without missing a start is lucky, and teams often bench their star quarterbacks for meaningless Week 17 games. Nobody is going to play all 16 games in a season for 2 consecutive decades. Favre's streak is as safe as it gets. Number 3, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 26-game losing streak. Everybody likes to laugh at the 2008 Detroit Lions and 2017 Cleveland Browns for pulling off 0-16 seasons, but those weren't even close to the 70s Buccaneers. The Bucs entered the NFL in 1979, and respected head coach John McKay couldn't do anything with this team. Tampa Bay lost all 14 games in their inaugural season. They proceeded to lose their first 12 games of the ensuing 1977 campaign as well. Finally, the streak ended with a 33-14 road win against the New Orleans Saints in Week 13 of 1977. The Bucs, for good measure, closed out the season with a Week 14 win against the St. Louis Cardinals. Number 2, Jim Hardy's 8 interceptions thrown in one game. We've seen some quarterbacks throw 5 or even 6 interceptions here in the 21st century. While only 6 quarterbacks hold the dishonor of throwing 7 picks in a game, only one man has surpassed that mark, and his name is Jim Hardy. On September 24, 1950, Hardy, then a member of the Chicago Cardinals, was picked off 8 times in a 47-7 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. No quarterback is going to do it again, folks. These days, if a guy throws 5 or 6 interceptions, the coach is most likely going to pull him ASAP. And number 1, Jerry Rice's receiving records. Jerry Rice is the greatest wide receiver ever. You can easily argue that he's hands down the greatest player in NFL history, too. A 3-time Super Bowl winner with the 49ers, Rice played in the NFL from 1985 to 2004. He retired as the all-time leader in receiving yards, 22,895, receptions, 1,549, and touchdowns, 197. Arizona Cardinals wideout Larry Fitzgerald has displayed remarkable consistency and longevity, and yet he was never close to Rice's records. It's hard for any wideout to stay healthy and remain super productive for 10 years, let alone 15 plus like Fitzgerald, or a full 2 decades like Rice. Mr. Rice, your receiving records are safe. Enjoy them, and they'll be in the history books forever. What other unbreakable records from the NFL should we have included in our list? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, then like the video. We'd really appreciate it. And last but not least, don't forget to tune in to TPS every single day for more cool videos. We'll see you next time.